Alright, so first and foremost, you're going to need a hockey stick. You can get one from Sport Check or something, and it can be wood or carbon fiber like this one. Doesn't really matter. And first, you're going to need to cut it to your specific height. Two reference points that you're going to want to use is between your nose and your chin. As you can see, this is a little tall for me, but I measure mine up with skates since I play hockey. So if I go on my tippy toes, which is about the size of my skates, as you can see, it's right below my nose, which is where I like it. So it's about right here. Yours can be cut near the mouth or even right at the chin or right at the nose, just really between those 2 points, and you should have a good cut. Alright, so the next thing you're going to want to find is your handedness. This basically means, do you shoot to the left or to the right? I shoot to the left. The best way to find it is to grab any hockey stick and to basically just hold it in a way that feels comfortable for you. For me, it's to the left, and I can tell because it's at the left side of my body, so I know I shoot to the left. However, for you, it might be the right, which means I'm at the right side of my body, and this way feels most comfortable. So give it a try, maybe even take a few shots if they allow it, and see which way feels comfortable for you. Alright, now let's move on. How to hold the stick. So, how you're going to hold it is if you're left-handed like me, which means that the stick is at the left side of your body, you're going to take your right hand and you're going to place it at the top. Hold it in whichever way feels comfortable, whether that's leaving a little bit of space or holding it right at the end. I like to hold it right at the end, so try both ways, mix and match, whichever way feels comfortable for you. Then taking your left hand, if you're left-handed, you're going to hold it like this. So take your right hand and then your left and place your elbow to the right hand, right up against it. And then lay it down and grab with your left hand where it lands. And then that should be around where you should hold the stick. You can hold it a little bit lower, of course, or a little bit higher, however you feel. I like to hold it a little bit lower, and that should be how you hold your hockey stick in all the shots. Now, same thing goes if you're right-handed. You take your left hand and you hold it at the top, wherever it feels comfortable, and then you take your right hand and once again, you just place it on the left, and wherever it lands, that's about where you should hold the stick, once again, a little bit lower, a little bit higher if you want to. Now that we have how to hold the stick out of the way, we need to get into the position that we should be in. So first, stick in front of you at all times, and you're going to want to take your feet and have them be about shoulder width apart. Then you're going to bend. So bend your knees until they're about right over your toes. So like this. So if you look at it from the side, it should be like that. My knees are just over my toes, and that should be how it should stand. And then we're going to have our hands away from our body. So this is from the side view, and from the front view, it should look like this. This is about where we want to stand. Now that's the position that we're going to be in for all of our shots, so it's good to know and to learn it before we start. Alright, so let's get in our hockey stance, and we're going to learn the most common shot in all of hockey. The wrist shot. Now what makes the wrist shot so deadly and common is it has three main things. It's quick, accurate, and powerful. So, to learn the wrist shot, we're first going to need to learn weight transfer, which is something you use in all shots. Weight transfer is transferring your weight from the back leg to the front leg. So since I'm a left-handed shot, my back leg is my left leg. My front leg is my right. So I'm transferring my weight from the left to the right. Now for right-handed shooters, it's the opposite. For right-handed shooters, I'm transferring my weight from the right to the left. The first thing we're going to need to learn for a wrist shot is how to do that. So first of all, the puck should always be on for the wrist shot, the heel of the blade, or the back of it. So, starting with the puck at the heel, as you can see right there, we're going to transfer our weight from the left to the right. That's if you're a left-handed shooter. If you're a right-handed shooter, of course, you're transferring your weight from the right to the left. This gives the shot power. Now the next thing we're going to learn is how to actually release the shot. So, once again, starting with the puck at the heel of our blade, we're going to start with all our weight on the left leg, and as we're transferring it to the right, we're going to move our hands. We're going to move our hands so that we actually, as you can see, bend the stick. If I can get a good picture here. We bend our stick, almost like a slingshot, I like to call it. This way the puck actually gets flung towards the net. The whip, we create a whip, and then we let it go. This is caused a lot by weight transfer and upper body strength. Starting with the puck at our heel, we're going to shift our weight and move our hands so that the puck goes from the heel to about the middle of the stick. This is where we want the puck to be when we release the shot. Now at this point, the stick should be flexed, so it should be about like that. So the stick should be flexing. This is when we release our shot. Now, when we release our shot, we need to do something called a wrist flick. Wrist flicks are super simple. All we do is we come in like this, and we almost turn our stick like this, the wrist roll. This kind of gives our puck height. And then to aim it, we're going to do this. So we go like that kind of, and then we turn our hands like this, and we point to where we want it to go. So if we want to go top left, we point top left. If we want to go top right, we point to top right. Bottom left, we point. Bottom right, we point. So this one gives it the accuracy. The wrist flick gives it the height. Now, of course, if you don't want any height, you don't do any wrist flick at the beginning. So now we put all these things into motion. These all are happening at the same time. So, weight on the back leg, transfer. As we're transferring, we get the flex in. Once it's transferred to the front leg, we do the wrist roll, and then we point like that. So once again, starting from the heel of the blade, weight transfer, stick roll, and then we release it like that. Now I'll take a couple of shots and I'll slow it down so that you can see every step. Alright, so that you can see the flex and the weight transfer a little bit better, I'm going to be using a different stick that's much more whippier. Alright, so now let's learn the second hockey shot, the snap shot. Now, the snap shot gets a lot of power, which is really nice. The difference between the snap shot and the wrist shot is you start off the snap shot, instead of way back here, you start off at about here. Now, once again, weight transfer is involved, so you're going to start off around here, and this time you're literally snapping your wrist. Just like in the name, snap shot. You're snapping your wrist. So basically you come and you snap like that. So transferring your weight from the left, the puck should be in about the middle of the blade now instead of the very end. So you're going to have the puck in the middle, and all you're going to do is as you're transferring your weight, you're going to kind of snap it. This is the most quickest shot in the game. The wrist shot is the second because the wrist shot requires you to sort of wind up. The snap shot is very simple to get off. So just like the wrist shot, we're transferring our weight, we're snapping our wrists, and we're getting that nice bend in. And once again, we're aiming where the puck wants to go. Alright. The next shot we're going to learn is the slap shot. Now this is most commonly used when you're at the blue line or as a defenseman. This shot is the longest shot to take, but it is by far the most powerful one. Now the slap shot is a little different than the other shots. Once again, weight transfer is involved, but the difference is when you go in our hockey stance, you're supposed to hold your hand, your left hand, the one that's the lowest, actually a little bit lower, about the middle of the stick. You do this because this is where you actually get the most whip. Now, the slap shot is recommended you actually start with the puck a little bit ahead of you, so about at your front foot. Holding the stick a little lower, all we're going to do is we're going to lift the stick up to about waist height. If you want to, you can hold it a little higher, although it takes a little longer to get the shot off. Hold it about waist height, and all we're going to do is we're weight transferring from the left leg, coming in, hitting the ice before we actually hit the puck, and just following through. Now this gives us the absolute most power and the most flex. So we come in, and we finish like that, hitting the ice first and following through with the puck, shooting on net. Alright, now we're going to learn one of the most lethal shots in hockey, the backhand. Now what makes the backhand so lethal is that a goalie has no idea where it's going to go. From the curve of the stick, using the back of it, it's very difficult to predict where the puck's going to go. Whereas, where you shoot from the front, you can kind of predict from the curve of the stick. But from the back, you can't. Now, to do a backhand, once again, we get into our hockey stance. But this time, we start the backhand from out here to about our front foot. And it's almost the exact opposite as a forehand. Forehand, we start here with the puck on the heel, and we follow through like that. That's how the backhand is done backwards. We start off with the puck at the heel of our stick with the back, and as we're transferring our weight, we try to not bend the stick since you can't on the back. We try to instead flick it almost. As we come around, the puck travels from the back, from the heel of the stick, all the way to the middle, where we sort of flick it up. This is one of the most difficult shots in hockey because it's very difficult to try to get the puck off the ground using the backhand. You really need to dig, almost as if you're shoveling. You really need to get down low and lift it up in order to get it.